I started so many courses, but struggle to finish and lose the momentum and motivation, the excitement. What could be the reason for it? We're living in one of the most dangerous times right now. It is one of the most craziest, most distracted eras that's ever been. How many of you noticed, just the other day, I was on my phone and I knew I had to order something to make sure this Q&A can happen for you because I'm currently abroad at the moment. And imagine I go onto Amazon and that was going to be, so I find that item, right? And I click buy and they message me saying it's going to be delivered within 4 hours. How many of you noticed nowadays it's very different to how it used to be? Because I remember I used to click buy on something and it'll take 2-3 weeks, even a month for it to arrive, shipping. We're living in almost like instant delivery age. We're living nowadays in like instant Netflix. Turn on TV, instant dopamine. You open the fridge, instant food. How many of you agree? You walk into a grocery store, like it's instant. Yes or no? We're living in one of the most craziest eras that's ever been for the human mind. Hence why we're all feeling what you're feeling. If you haven't noticed, that same conditioning of like instant results, instant feeling, has now rubbed off onto how we actually approach life. We begin to believe just because something is not happening, and we quit. How many of you agree? We try something for like a couple of weeks and we're like, oh no, I'm no longer feeling great, so I'm going to quit. We go back to YouTube, that makes you feel really great. It's like a heroin addict. You inject it, watch that video, get that dopamine, and you feel great again. Just like a drug addict, there's no difference. How many notice that? But because with, for example, transformational experiences, because actual changes can take time, the moment it's not happening instantly, we quit. We say it's not working. Remember, the day you plant the seed isn't the day you harvest the fruit. Why individuals self-sabotage is because we do not realize what is this thing called a lag. Does anyone here not know what the lag means in terms of human evolution? You see, this is at the root of why individuals suffer and struggle. You see, the lag describes this. Listen carefully. The lag is the gap between the cause and effect. Is the gap between you planting the seeds, yes, and you harvesting all the flowers. Are you getting this, by the way? Yes, so you planting the seed. So the lag is the gap. How many of you are getting this? The moment we get started on something, you'll notice initially it feels quite sexy because it's new, but eventually you'll hit the lag where you're showing up and nothing seems to be changing. How many know what I'm talking about? When nothing seems to be changing. How many of you have learned a musical instrument before? Or mastered anything? Maybe cooking or whatever it may be. How many of you notice as you get started on something, a new skill, like playing guitar, on the first week, you feel like you're getting growth. How many of you agree? Because it's all new. So it's sexy, right? But there eventually reaches a time where after a year of practicing, it seems like you're not growing, you're not improving, you're still making the same mistakes. How many are getting this? That's called the lag. What most people do not realize is lag is proof that you're in momentum, as in you are doing the right thing. As in eventually when you get out of lag, what you experience is mastery and the greatest quantum leap results you can possibly fathom. This is world-class life. But most dabblers quit in the lag phase because it's not that sexy. So what does it mean then to ensure you overcome this? You got to adopt the mindset of true masters before you. Remind yourself this. Self-mastery isn't really about the high you feel after great meditation. Self-mastery isn't about some high you feel after a great seminar. Self-mastery isn't about motivation. Self-mastery is simply the act of showing up, regardless of how you feel. It's showing up, regardless of how you feel. Because eventually, as you keep showing up, you will harvest the result. How many of you are getting this? So this is why I like to say, if you're going to quit when you're rich, not when you're broke. If you're going to quit when you're brimming with love, not when you're brimming with hate. If you're going to quit when you're healed, not when you're still traumatized. If you're going to quit when you're free, not when you're in prison. If you're going to quit when you're at the top, not when you're at the bottom. Because quitting when you're at the bottom devoids you of every result that is waiting for you. There are individuals in life who, do a lot throughout the year. Just before that harvesting, they just fall into self-sabotage. That's kind of like you running along the freaking marathon, right? And just before the finish line, where everyone's like applauding, waiting for you to like run through it, and there's loads of like prizes waiting, you just turn around and you're like, nope, sorry guys, I'm gonna give up here. I can't afford it. I don't have the time. It's almost senseless. It's almost irrational. How many of you agree? So what does this really mean? It means make a decision to quit when you're at the top. But at the same time, if you keep on quitting here, if you keep quitting at the bottom of the mountain, eventually that turns into a habit. There's a reason why Michael Jordan once said never quit, because quitting itself becomes a habit. And the worst habit we can ever create in this game called life is quitting when things are hard. Because that means you will devoid yourself of every result you can ever wish for, including the love of your life, the wealth, the health. You will devoid yourself of every result. You will never experience that life ever, because you're quitting before the harvest day. Some of you have been working very hard. You've been planting many seeds all throughout your life. Now it's time for you to get something from this hard work. How many of you agree? Now it's time for you to freaking get the harvest. Same with personal development. Some of you, you've gone through a lot of personal development. You've been showing up. Now it's time for you to get the harvest.